Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Flum and I will be one of the SBE tutors next year in the fall along with Maxine Weiss. This will hopefully be the first installment in a YouTube series I will hopefully upload weekly. This video I'm still trying to figure out how to upload and make these videos themselves, and so this is kind of a rough draft or rough video just to kind of get me acquainted and see how it works and everything. So I apologize in advance, this may not be the best video I will make, but hopefully I will do better jobs later. So, for Visual Basic, if you first open Excel and have never opened Visual Basic before, you may not have the Developer tab up here. To open that, go up to File, go down to Options, then go to Customize Ribbon, and go over and find Developer in this main tab section. Make sure it's checked and then hit OK. I apologize, I'm not exactly sure how you do that in Mac offhand, but it's not that complicated. You could probably find it somewhere on Google, but I may make a supplemental video for that as well. So, go ahead and click on this Developer tab and go over here to Visual Basic. Most of the stuff we do in these videos will occur in this Visual Basic. There's other things you can do somewhere else, like make buttons and other cool things, but we're just going to start with Visual Basic now. And so, go here. I already have a module inserted. But if you want to make your own module, go ahead and click on the VBA project. It should be titled whatever the workbook is titled. Mine is titled Book 1 because I just opened it. So go ahead and go up here, go down to Insert and insert a module. So the button right below File and Insert. So most of the coding you will do is inside of here. You could do it inside of the sheets themselves here, but I would suggest just writing code inside of these modules. On a side note, sometimes these videos that I'm trying to make, they don't sync properly, so I apologize if that is occurring with this video. But back to the Visual Basic. So there are basically two ways to write your codes. One is a function and one is a subroutine. Let's start out with a function right now. So function, and let's call it my first function. I will get to the syntax probably later, but you need to have function space, the name of your function, parenthesis, parenthesis, and if you noticed, it auto-added this end function at the end, turned the font blue, and then auto-capitalized as well. If that does not occur, you probably spelled function wrong or you spelled something incorrectly. So, in this case, let's do a simple function. Let's do y equals m times x plus b, simple slope-intercept. So, in this case, because it's a function, you actually have to define this or set whatever my first function equals to. So let's say my first function equals y. And so when it goes line by line in the code, it'll calculate what y is and then make my first function, the title here, equal to y, equal to whatever that is. So that is kind of the form of a function, and I will go quickly into what a subroutine is, or a sub. So sub, tell it my first sub. Same thing with the parentheses, similar thing with the adding the end little note thing, capitalizing and turning blue, but it also adds a line to distinguish between the subroutine or between multiple functions. So within here, in this case, you can do the same, y equals m times x plus b, and it should auto space them here too. If you were to just do y equals mx plus b, it would think this mx is one variable and not m times x. You have to actually say m times x plus b. And in a subroutine, you don't actually have to set my first sub equal to something. If you did, it would probably come up with an error. So my first, let's just test that real quick. Oops, equals y. I'll just compile. Yep, it has an issue with that. So in subroutines, you cannot set the subroutine itself, like the name of the subroutine, equal to something. That is for functions. The main differences between functions and subroutines are much more specific. You can actually call a function inside of your subroutine or somewhere else, and it'll be able to go back here and jump up and run this code somewhere else. Also, with functions, use them inside the spreadsheet like you would cosine or something else. Subroutines, on the other hand, they're a little bit less versatile, but I think they're a little bit cleaner. They're a little bit more efficient in my opinion. I prefer writing subroutines if I know exactly what I'm going to do in the spreadsheet, and if I built a spreadsheet just for one purpose, I may write a subroutine. But if I need something more versatile, like I've not really done with the project yet, I may write it as function because that'll be a little bit more versatile. And you may see this later, but just to give an example, so see how I have function here. Here, you guys should know this by now, but you can do like equals cosine of something, and you put in whatever there. There's built-in functions to do stuff like that. But typing or making your function inside of this module, you can go in here and type my first function, and it appears here. And so you can actually call it up inside your spreadsheet in the cell like you would any other function if it's a function within your code. If it's a subroutine, it requires a little more syntax to work, but it's I don't know, it's a little bit different. But I will get to how those work a little bit more in other videos. So moving on, you want to define some variables to have them to work. And so let's say the slope equals 2. The y-intercept b equals 3. And let's say we do not know what x is. That is, or in variable, we have a lot of x values. You can actually put, if you want to have x as the input, so for any x, you can put that in parentheses. And inside your spreadsheet, you can put that in the function. And in this case, when you actually run it, it'll basically do y is equal to 2 times x, whatever the input is, and then plus 3, which is the y-intercept. And then it'll set y equal to whatever this is. And then it'll here, on this line, it sets the name of the function equal to that. I will get more into that like later in the video series, but for now, I don't know. Alright, moving on. One other thing to note, this is not necessarily an inequality. This is more of a defining process. And so I will get to this later, but let's say sub, I'm going to make a kind of a confusing sub right here, so let's just call it confusing. You can do, there are these things called loops. I will get into it later, but you can just say for I equals 1 to 10. And don't try to understand this right now. I'm just going to try to give you an example of something that seems like it doesn't really make sense, but it will hopefully kind of clarify a few things in Visual Basic. So ignore this and this here, but you can do x equals x plus 1. Actually, I'm just going to take these out, make it a little bit less confusing. But in this case, you think that this is false. Inequality is x is not equal x plus 1. In Visual Basic's mind, though, if you define like x equals 1 here, this is not saying like x equals 1. This is saying like defining x as 1. So as Visual Basic thinks, it goes line by line, and it looks at the right side of the equation first, and then calculates everything on that side, then looks to the left half, and then sets it equal to that. And so in this case, it goes to this line setting x equal to 1, goes down here, there's nothing there, goes down there, it looks at just this right half of the equation. The last thing in Visual Basic's memory was that x is equal to 1. And so it'll do 1 plus 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. It'll redefine x as 2 if I say x equals x plus 1 again, and then x equals x plus 1 again. As I run through, it'll do x is equal to 1, go down here, it'll ignore the left half and just look at this half right now. Do x is a 1 plus 1, and then this side equals 2. Then it'll look over here, see x. Okay, the last thing I have on this side, the total of that is 2, so x is now equal to 2. Then it goes down to this line, looks just at the right half first. The last thing I remember is x being is 2. and so it'll do 2 plus 1, so that equals 3. It'll look on the left half, see x. Okay, the last thing to remember here is that this entire side equals 3. X is now 3. Do the same thing here. Go down to the next line, look at the right half, see x. The last thing you remembered x was being is 3. Do 3 plus 1, that equals 4. Then look to the left half, this entire side, which sums to 4. Now x is. It may seem very confusing or not straightforward at first, but it will make more sense later as you get more comfortable with Visual Basic. So just to recap, it's not really an equality, it's more of a defining process. So you calculate or do stuff on the right side, and then you set that, and you say the left side is equal to all of that. Another thing you cannot do x plus 1 equals like y minus 3, because again, this is a defining process and not an inequality. So do you see how it took out the plus 1? It does not like that because it does not want to have any mathematical operation on the other side. It'll take all of the stuff on this side, sum it, do the mathematical operations over here, and then just define everything on the left as that. So hopefully that is not confusing. I will probably go more later into some of this stuff, but so yeah, this will hopefully clarify a few things with Visual Basic. You may want to, if you're still confused, go find some other YouTube videos or wait until my next installment. I will hopefully go a little bit more in depth into writing functions and how they work together, and I will also talk about this thing called option explicit and dimensionalizing variables as well. But that will be for later stuff. So hopefully this is not too confusing. I hope you enjoy the video. Again, sorry for it not probably being the best quality. I also probably a lot. But thank you for watching, and I will hopefully upload more videos next time. Thanks.